Curiosity in the scientific community, or just curiosity in general, expands, growing ever stronger since the days of Oppenheimer and Galileo. In fact, technological advancement over the past 2 to 3 decades has allowed human civilization to continue in our pursuit for knowledge and discovery. And it is this pursuit that brings us to the most alien corners of the world. Welcome to Ya Catch That, and today we will explore the top 10 most impossible places on Earth. Number 10. Mendenhall Ice Caves. The Mendenhall Glacier exists in the Alaskan ice field, 12 miles across from the Alaskan capital, Juneau. An ice cave system stretches below these glaciers, where water runs over rocks and under frozen bright blue ceilings, and exists as one of the fewest places where you can experience every stage of the water cycle. The vibrant blue colors of the ice caves result when air squeezes from original ice and snow, which causes the ice to absorb all the colors except blue. Want to explore these magical caves? Juneau offers extensive tours of the glaciers, if you can suffer through a bit of crawling, climbing, and kayaking. Number 9. Confluence of Rhone and Arve rivers. A natural phenomenon in Geneva, Switzerland, the Rhone, the stark blue river on the left, exits from Lake Leman, and the Arve, the grayish murk on the right, receives water from the Glacier Murdy Gloss in the Chamonix Valley. Both rivers flow into the west side of Geneva, where the high silt and mud levels of the Arve cause a density shift and creates the brilliant contrast which collides in the Arrow Inlet. Geneva hosts many bridges and ferry tours to explore the unique phenomenon. Number 8. Doubletree of CASORZO. Between Grana and CASORZO in Piemonte, Italy, a tree known as Bialbero di CASORZO, or the double tree, grows from the enchanted soils, a cherry tree on top of a mulberry tree. While parasitic plants can occur in nature, like the dwarf mistletoe and pyrola, a full-grown tree on top of another full-grown tree seems to be a rarity. Scientists refer to this type of parasitic happenstance as an epiphytic relationship. An epiphyte grows on the surface of another and pulls in nutrients from the air. Common occurrences of epiphytic relationships include orchids, pineapples, and cacti. But the lifespan of epiphytes ranges from short to almost non-existent. The Doubletree of CASORZO continues to defy those standards. Locals suggest that a bird might have dropped a cherry seed on top of a mulberry tree, which then grew its roots through the hollow trunk to reach the soil below. Number 7. Bermuda Triangle. In the west region of the North Atlantic Ocean, the Bermuda Triangle has captured the human imagination with unexplained disappearances of ships, planes, and people. The theorists and conspirators of the deep web speculate that unknown and mysterious forces account for the unexplained disappearances, such as extraterrestrials capturing humans for study, the influence of a lost continent of Atlantis, vortices that suck objects into other dimensions, and other whimsical ideas. Some explanations seem more grounded in science if not in evidence. These include oceanic flatulence and disruptions in geomagnetic lines of flux. In 2017, Karl Krzelnicki claimed to solve the mystery of the Bermuda Triangle by saying there was no mystery at all. He says everything can be explained by human error, bad weather, and heavy sea and air traffic, not alien abduction or energy beams from the lost city of Atlantis. Number 6. Potomsky Crater. In the summer of 1949, a geologist named Vadim Kolpakov discovered a large mound of broken limestone on the surface of the Earth in the Bodaibo-Irkutsk region of southeastern Siberia. The limestone forms a conical shape with a crater at the top and a small mound in the center. He named the strange feature after a nearby river. Users of the deep web argue that the Potom crater looks more like a heap of flour with an egg in the middle. We can't blame them. Local residents call this phenomenon the Fire Eagle Nest. Why? Because a scary name befits a scary vibe. The Yakut report an intense discomfort around the area, and others claim to feel a lack of energy. For a long time, Siberian scientists believed the crater to be a meteorite impact structure linked to the Tunguska meteorite, whose remains had never been discovered. Later on, some geologists suggested the crater could be a nascent volcano, but no volcanic material had ever been found either. Interestingly, the trees around the crater show evidence of accelerated growth for a period, similar to that seen in the forest around Chernobyl after the nuclear disaster. This has given rise to wild theories of hidden nuclear plants and buried UFOs with nuclear fuel on board. The most recent theory? a one considered to be realistic and plausible suggests that the Potomsky crater is a gas volcano. Number 5. Circles of Namibia. The strange circles, known as fairy circles, dotting the desert in South Africa have stumped scientists for decades. This unique phenomenon seemed to occur only along the Namib Desert in southern Africa, but then geologists discovered almost identical formations near the mining town of Newman in Western Australia. Biologists and mathematicians have grappled over the mystery of the Namibian fairy circles for decades, proposing various mechanisms responsible for the strange pattern. And after years of study, scientists coalesced around two main hypotheses. One suggests that termites clear out vegetation under the soil for subterranean nests, which create empty patches on the surface. When the soil becomes porous, the argument goes, the termites establish permanent reservoirs of rainwater 50 centimeters below the surface, which sustains them and the surrounding ecosystem. An alternative idea, the second hypothesis, details the ecological competition for water. As vegetation expands and thrives into a patch, smaller plants nearby cannot get the water necessary to survive. The amount of vegetation thins or disappears at the edges of the patch, forming regular distance gaps. Number 4. Hesdalen Lights. An unexplained light phenomenon in the Hesdalen Valley of Norway. The light range from white, yellow, or red can appear over and under the horizon, can occur by day or by night, and float through and above the valley. The duration of the lights can last anywhere from a few seconds to well over an hour. Sometimes the lights move with tremendous speed, at other times they seem to oscillate back and forth or hover in midair. Strange lights have been reported in this region since at least the 1930s, with the highest activity happening between December 1981 and mid-1984, during which the lights appeared at least 15 to 20 times per week. Following Hesdalen, a group of engineers, journalists, and students collaborated as the Triangle Project during 1997 to 1998 and recorded the Hesdalen lights in a pyramid shape that bounced up and down. In 1998, Norway set up the Hesdalen AMS, or Hesdalen Automatic Measurement Station, in the valley to register and record the light's appearance. One plausible explanation connects the phenomenon to a loosely understood combustion involving oxygen, hydrogen, and sodium, which happens in Hesdalen because of the large deposits of scandium. Numerous physical properties, including oscillation, light spectrum, and geometric structure observed in the Hesdalen lights, can be explained through a dust plasma model. Despite the ongoing studies, no one can explain the lights in Hesdalen. Number 3. The CATATUMBO Lightning. Also referred to as the Eternal Thunderstorm. These clouds sit over the Catatumbo River in Venezuela and fire off lightning shots at least 150 times per year. Sometimes this storm lasts as long as 10 hours per day with as many as 300 strikes per hour. Scientists believe the storm, which occurs 3 miles above the surface of the Catatumbo, forms from a constant mixture of warm and cold air currents and methane from the regional oil deposits, as well as the prevalent swamplands. Number 2. Movile Cave. An alien land within our own human-inhabited world, the Movile Cave of Romania, discovered in 1986, houses an entire ecosystem separate from the evolution of our own civilization. The Movile Cave remained in an isolated state for 5.5 million years, away from current Earth conditions and human influence. While our atmospheric air contains 21% oxygen and 0.03% of carbon dioxide, the cave air contains only 7 to 10% oxygen and 2 to 3.5% carbon dioxide. The air also has a 1 to 2% content of methane. The water and air of the Movile Cave seems to be rich in ammonia and sulfides. Though the above air and water conditions would repel life in the outside world, around 48 species, including 33 endemic ones, have been discovered in the cave. The food chain here behaves in a unique manner, with bacteria utilizing chemosynthesis to oxidize sulfur and methane, producing nutrients for other microbes which then multiply rapidly to form a microbial mat over the walls of the cave and floor of the water bodies. Small insects and other invertebrates feed on these microbial mats and become the prey of the larger predators. Spiders, scorpions, snails, insects, and leeches remain some of the larger species inhabiting the Movile Cave. Number 1. Sleeping City of Kalachi. In 2013, people reported a mysterious illness in the small rural town of Kalachi in northeast Kazakhstan, known as the modern Sleepy Hollow or the Village of the Damned. The victims would start to slur their words, sway their bodies, and see in double vision before falling into a deep sleep lasting for days. Other symptoms include drowsiness and hallucinations. 7,000 tests of the possible causes of the encephalopathy have been made since March 2013. Doctors ruled out infectious and bacterial diseases. The gamma background of the village seemed to be within the normal range, and no increase in salts or heavy metals concentrations had been detected. A team of ecologists, virologists, and toxicologists combined efforts to solve the mystery of the sleeping sickness, which they determined not to be a sickness at all, but an increase of carbon monoxide levels from a nearby abandoned mine which caused the oxygen levels in the town to fall. Want to see more content? Hit the subscribe button and ring the notification bell to stay up to date with the best of Top 10. What do you want to see next?